Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make some simple, super easy pot holders. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about our supplies. You're going to need just a little bit of a couple different kinds of fabrics. So the first one I'm going to talk about is this one. This is an insulated batting called Insulbrite. That's the name brand of it. This is used for things where you want to have a little bit of heat resistance, like a pot holder. You're also going to need some regular old batting. You can choose the thickness, and then you're also going to need some cotton, some kind of print that you want to use for what you're going to see the outsides of your pot holder. So what you'll need is 1 8-inch square of the insulated batting, 2 8-inch squares of your regular old batting, 2 8-inch squares of your printed cotton, and 1 2 by 4-inch piece of your fabric that you're using for the outside. Okay, for our next step, we are going to make the little loop that you can use to hang your pot holder up on a knob or something. And so what we're going to do, we're going to take the 2 by 4-inch piece of fabric. You're going to fold it in half lengthwise and press it. I've already pressed this one. Then you're going to open it back up and you're going to fold in half again lengthwise by folding into the crease from this side and then into the crease from that side, just like this. Press it like this, and then you're going to fold them together and press it like this so that the raw parts, the raw edges are going to the inside and you have the folded edges to this. So you're going to take this, press it so it's nice and flat. Then what I did was I just ran through on this edge that's open, the two folded ones, and stitched pretty close to the edge. You can see that on here. Then after sewing that, I folded it in half and then just stitched across the bottom right here just to keep that little loop closed. So that makes our little loop. If you want, this is kind of small, you could make it larger. Simply make a piece that is 2 inches by more than 4 inches. Extend out this length going this way. So once you have your little loop, we're going to make what I call a stack. And so what we're going to do, you're going to lay down your insulated batting first. Then we're going to put a piece of regular batting on top. Next, we're going to have one of our cotton prints. We're going to do that with the right side of the fabric up. The right side is the part that you want to see, the nice part. This is the back. You can tell the difference. Sometimes it's hard to tell on some fabrics, but for something that's printed like this, it's pretty easy to tell. Then we're going to lay down our loop in one of the corners so that it's sticking out a little bit beyond the corner, beyond the point of the corner. And then we're going to take the other piece of printed fabric. We're going to put this one face down on top of the other printed fabric with the right side down. And then we're going to have the other piece of cotton batting. It's going to go on top of here. This is what I call our stack of fabric. So then you're going to want to take either pins or sewing clips like these, and we're going to clip it going around to keep our stack in place. So go ahead and take a bunch of clips and pins and pin it. This helps to keep the fabric from shifting around too much while you're sewing. Okay, so now that we've got it all clipped, we're going to sew around the outside edge. We are going to sew about 1/2 inch from the edge, and we are going to sew all the way around except in the middle of one of the sides, not in the corner, in the middle, we're going to leave a gap of a couple of inches unsewn. All right, so now we've sewn all the way around except for leaving our little opening right here unsewn all the way around what's going to be the pot holder. And then after doing that, I simply cut across the very tip. You can see where like the very tip of the triangle, I cut the corners so that when we turn this right side out, it makes things a little bit easier and we get a nicer corner. So what you're going to do is take that opening and pull it apart between your 2 layers of the outside fabric. Okay, and so then what you're going to do is you're going to, as best you can, reach inside, kind of go across the pot holder and grab that fabric out and turn it right side out, just like you would inside out a bag or something. It's not easy because the layers are really thick and you want to try not to pop any of the stitches that are right at your opening of the hole, but you kind of have to just keep pulling and pushing in until you get things right side out. So it's going to look like this basically. And you're going to keep pushing at the corners to try as best you can with your fingers. And then I find it helps to kind of wiggle a little bit at the seams to try to get things pushed all the way out and nice and tight. And then I also typically take a pencil and push into these corners, or there's something in sewing called a corner turner. Just something you can push up in there, like you would take something and kind of push into the corner to get it to poke out as nice as you can. And I'm going to play with this a little more, but once you've done that, you're going to press this, pull it down. You've got your hole still up here. We're going to address that in just a minute, but we're going to press this down and get it as flat as we possibly can. Okay, so now we've got the finished pot holders. So I took each one and just top stitched around the edges. You can do this in a number of ways. I do sometimes a little bit closer to the edge, sometimes further. What you want to make sure though is, if you remember, we left an opening up at the top on this one, and we left that opening and we sewed initially when it was inside out as the stack, 1/2 inch from the edge. So you need to come and make sure that you have something at least a little bit closer than 1/2 inch from the edge so that you close up that opening that we left in there, if that makes sense. So you can do whatever you want. You could do lines up and down, you could do zigzags, whatever, so long as you make sure you go around the edge and you do either 1/4 inch or slightly closer to the edge than 1/2 inch in order to close that up, and then you are done. You have some handy pot holders to use in your kitchen or to give as a housewarming gift.